dreams.
Ooh, I like that. I like that.
Welcome to the Outpost. Along with Chris, I am Sam. We are sadly without Ryan and Mike, but we're just here to do a quick little update on this past weekend's Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con.
San Diego
Can you believe?
Comic-Con.
Can you believe we made it? I'm trying to remember when I learned what Comic-Con was. It was definitely like the Wild West days of the internet.
Right. Yeah, I think this Comic-Con was honestly off my radar a little bit. It was like the Marvel stuff, Phase 3 had ended. Star Wars didn't really have much of a presence there, so I was kind of like not paying attention, and boy, did I pick the wrong one to not pay attention to.
I think I assumed that Marvel was not going to make an announcement because they've got, obviously, D23, which it was, I'll just side note, it was announced yesterday that they like promised a major announcement or reveal or something at D23 in August. So I feel like they might not announce more projects, but they might reveal either early footage or key art or whatever they call it. But
everything they announced is finished, and they're releasing it on that date.
It's on Apple now. That would be amazing. I guess we should just to back up a bit for those of you who are Star Warsy fans. Maybe you haven't listened to one of these. You know that we do an Outpost episode. It's where we get to expand our X-wings a little bit and talk about stuff outside of purely the Star Wars galaxy and kind of nerd out about other pop culture stuff. As we said, we're going to talk about San Diego Comic-Con. In this episode, we're going to run through obviously the big topic, probably the big winner. Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios' announcement of the full slate of Phase 4. We've also got some cool Star Trek news. They dropped a Witcher trailer, and I'm also excited about this comic book announcement from DC, reteaming some folks that I think I've plugged here on the pod before. So, Was there anything else? Anything I missed?
Not to be overlooked. Also, the Veronica Mars season 4 surprise release.
There you go. For all you Martians out there, is that what they're called?
Yeah, I guess
I don't
so.
know. I haven't
Sure.
watched the show yet. I've
neither.
heard great things though.
Yeah,
I love
same.
Kristen Bell.
Yeah.
All right, so where should we start? Let's save the big guy for last. So we'll talk about Marvel last. To start, let's go with hey, who's a Trek fan? We got some Star Warsers out there. Are you a Trekster?
Let's go to the other side of the space sci-fi continuum. Love Star Trek. Hey, Sam, who's your favorite captain?
Are you kidding me? He's the man with whom I share a neighborhood in this fair city. He's the man I watched eat pizza for the first time in his life on his Instagram account. He's the man who I've met twice.
Ooh.
At bars. I've seen on Broadway once. He is one half of the incredible comedic and social and pop culture duo of McKellen and Stewart. I am talking, of course, about Sir Patrick Stewart and the Captain Jean-Luc Picard.
He's not Frenchman, but is he French?
He was written to be French. I believe what they've decided is that his parentage was English and French, and he grew up in the French countryside. There was a family winery.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, we'll never learn anything about that, will we, Sam?
I'm shaking my finger at you, which is not great in an audio medium. Au contraire, that's also French, my friend. We are getting. It was announced before, right? I think people knew about this series, but CBS All Access is continuing, on the heels of. I think Discovery's been pretty popular. It's been successful. I am personally not caught up, but I look forward to getting caught up. But on the heels of the success of that, they actually managed to do. I think it's a 10-episode. It's an 8 or 10 episode, mini series.
Wow.
Called Picard. That's going to pick up. In the years after, sort of like real time, the years after the end of the Next Generation TV series, and we'll actually see where Picard's life has taken him. Hint: it's a vineyard.
I mean, this has always kind of been like in the rumor mill, especially when they were like rebooting Star Trek. I remember in like 2009, everyone thought, oh, with this like time travel subplot, maybe they'll bring back Picard. And I think maybe Star Wars gave them a little push of kind of bringing back some of the past cast members. But I think I'm super excited for this. The trailer looked amazing. It was pretty. It's a pretty complete trailer. I think it's like a series trailer. It's the Picard you know and love, but he's a little grittier. He's a little rough around the edges, and it's kind of cool to see him a little less refined.
Well, he's been out of the game for a bit. And first of all, I think you're absolutely right. I think they know. I think CBS knows what they have with Patrick Stewart. I think they know they have an incredible actor who's done a lot of genre work, who is game to deliver a great performance. And so it looks like they really threw some money behind this.
Yeah.
So it looks great. And yeah, the idea is it seems to pick up. He's, been retired for years. He's running a vineyard. And through meeting a young woman of mysterious origin, it seems like he maybe operates outside of the bounds of the Federation, and he kind of goes AWOL on, hopefully not one last mission, but at least one more great mission of some level of intergalactic importance.
Right.
They hint at they're bringing back the Borg.
Yes.
The big reveal in the trailer is that, related to the Borg, is that Jerry Ryan is returning from, she was 7 on Star Trek Voyager, which is super exciting. She also, looks like that series ended yesterday. She looks identical to, how she
really
did
does.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was also revealed in I don't know if it was in interviews or in the panel or over the course of the weekend, but they did confirm that Riker and Troy and Commander Data, Brent Spiner, would all be returning in at least some capacity to the show. So
the trailer kind of reveals a shot of them pulling open a chest of drawers, and one of the drawers is that's Data. The Data's in the drawer.
Data's all dismantled in little
They finally got tired of his jokes.
That's one thing I could do. They don't need to. I'll tell you what. I'll be happy if they don't make him sing. Don't make me sing.
Oh man.
No, for anybody who, look, if you're
A Trekker,
if you're a Trek fan and you grew up in the 80s or 90s, or before, I think but especially during that time, this show, The Next Generation, was in syndication every night of the week. It was always on TV.
Yeah.
It was a pretty big deal. It was in comic books. It was kind of there were action figures. I had a Geordie LaForge action figure.
I've got Whoopi.
Chris, that's not appropriate. But oh man, will she return? That would be, if they brought back Guinan, I would lose my mind. That would be so exciting.
It's a no-brainer. This is going to be the reunion I think every Star Trek fan wanted.
It's a huge dream. It seemed, it's in the spirit of the way.
Can you imagine
we got to see the original cast go on and make the movies.
I'll just throw this out there.
Oh boy.
If he reassembles the team.
Oh, if he puts the band back together?
Yeah.
Are you talking about putting the band back together?
I think he's going to put the band back together.
I'll definitely watch him put the band back.
Blue skies.
No.
Can't wait.
It's very exciting. I think the aesthetic, seems to be in conversation with Star Trek Discovery. I don't know how fans are going to feel about that. I will just call out a quick design moment. If you pause, either pause the trailer or look at one of the stills they released, there's it's when Picard goes into Starfleet to talk about this young woman. He's wearing a badge, and the badge is like a silver plate, and it's turned it has negative space, right? It's been carved out, and in the negative space is the Starfleet logo, but it's turned sideways, and in the top it says visitor. It's a really cool visitor badge.
That's gotta hurt.
Yeah, they probably do that carving on the chest. All right, so we've covered Star Trek, guys. We're excited.
Box checked.
We'll definitely there will be future outposts about probably Star Trek Discovery, and there was also a new series of that season announced of
3,
that season 3. So that's exciting. But let's, in the interest of brevity, and we're recording at an unusual time, so we gotta keep it moving for us. Let's move on to Chris. Did you watch the Witcher trailer?
I did. Yeah, it looks like a fantasy Netflix movie.
It does. It looks like a fantasy Netflix movie. Now, admittedly, I've been sleeping on these games, so I have no point of reference. I know that Witcher 3 was like a game of the year.
Well, what surprised me is that it was based on a book also.
What?
The trailer said it was based on a book. I could be wrong on that, but I believe it's based on a book series.
This, to me, I think my big takeaway... I mean, well, there's two big takeaways. One of them is Henry Cavill. Am I right? That guy's huge.
Yeah. He just kept getting more super.
It's weird that this is... it's weird to me that this is his follow-up to the sort of massive hit that was Fallout. But, he's leaning into something. Fans seem really excited to have him cast in the role. He seems down to wear that silly wig. But then the other thing for me
We're
is
just
like
upsetting so many Witcher fans right now. They're like, I think it's on a book, and then you're like, that silly way. Oops.
He's comically large. He's comically ripped in this.
But I think that's the character, though, right?
Yeah, Geralt is I think his name.
God bless you.
But to me, this strikes me as something. My only concern about that whole like looking like a Netflix level like tier production, like it's surprising to me that this isn't a TV series following Game of Thrones. It seems to me like, if you develop this and tell this story, over 12 hours or 15 hours, that seems like one thing. To do one movie, it feels like it could easily kind of be a little too small and get lost.
I wonder if this will set up some kind of syndicated-ish type TV series, though, in the future,
Or what if they do a version of this that is reminiscent of the sort of BBC Sherlock Holmes, where it's a 90-minute or 2-hour installment every...
Oh, sure.
They do a couple of those a year or every couple of years or something.
I guess that's probably always an option with Netflix. They could just do something like that.
They can do whenever they want, no one's... they are in charge of every element of production and release. So, so that, I'm excited for those who are excited. It looks like they dropped some coin on it, so, that's good for everybody. And Cavill, I'm just curious. I want to see the guy... So far, he's been best used by Macquarie in Fallout, and I just want to see him really find his niche. I like the guy in interviews and stuff, but I've struggled generally with his bigger roles to like care. So hopefully this is Henry. We're rooting for you, my man. We want that wig to stay.
Well, hey Sam, it's interesting you mentioned Mission Impossible Fallout, which stars Sir Thomas Cruise.
Thomas Cruise Maypother III?
Yes, Thomas Cruise Maypother III. Because what else did they unveil?
Oh gosh, they're revisiting something from his past, aren't they? I feel the need to say it's something. Top Gun Maverick. They dropped a new trailer. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I forgot up top to mention this, that we were going to cover it. I can't believe I forgot it. Well,
we segued into it seamlessly without mention.
Yep, until I brought it up. Whoopsies. I mean, this looks amazing, and it is very clear that Tom Cruise is continuing his pursuit of filming the impossible and filming it himself without the use of a stuntman.
So is he flying
jets?
He's flying that jet.
He is. He's flying it.
I saw him
flying a fighter jet.
I saw him on the Conan Comic-Con episode, and Conan was like, "How did they make it look like you were in the jet?" And he's like, "I'm flying it." He's like, "That's me."
I think the biggest question. I mean, this is kind of unsurprising at this point.
Yeah.
From the standpoint of course, Cruise is going to do it. Of course, he wants to, and of course,
he's flying a jet.
Of course, he somehow has the ability. He's this weird savant with certain things, with physical feats. But what is incredible to me is like, how did they get permission?
Yeah,
for an actor. I mean, those things are like what are they like? $40 million, $100 million?
Yeah,
those planes.
I bet he just has his own insurance company and insurance policy at this point. Like,
you mean Maypother Insurance?
Yeah, exactly. Like, he must just have his own company that just basically establishes, hey, I'll buy a jet if I break it.
It's Maypother Term Life. No, it's really incredible. The footage. I mean, the big thing about the original Top Gun, it's there's a lot of fans of that movie, but I at least for me, I think it's safe to say the movie is really just visual, right?
Yeah, I was going to say
it's cool. There's sort of it's kind money shots of planes.
It's kind of telling by the trailer also, like, how little information that's in that trailer. But I was like, I don't really expect there to be much more information about, like, what happens in that movie. Like, the original movie itself is great, and it's this cult classic, and, like, but at the surface, it's just like, let's fly jets.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem like it's kind of it's like plane porn. It's for like it's like, hey, do you think jets are cool?
Yeah,
look at all these how we photograph them.
What's impressive is that we've come so far with like special effects and digital effects and things like that like to see it in the real, like he's doing with, like, actually, I'm sure there are the composite shots and stuff hidden it throughout there, but like there is something about the kind of sweaty palm feeling of like, he's doing this and he's done it, but I still feel in peril for him, you know?
I think 100%, and I think there's something. I mean, we can talk about the helicopter sequence from Fallout as a good analog to this, which I think is that there is something, and I think this is why Tom Cruise does this. I think he's a very smart actor. I think he's really dedicated as an actor and performer, and I think he knows that, like, if you want to see how someone reacts and what they look like flying a fighter jet, you can't just put them in a gyro against a green screen.
Right.
And he's learned that, like, and then he's gone the extra mile and said, like, well, I'll actually do it. I'll risk my life. I'll risk the equipment. And I hope he's being smart about it and actually training enough. He certainly seems to be, based on how it's turned out. But I mean,
yep.
Yeah, footage in this, if you haven't seen the trailer, just look up Top Gun Maverick trailer.
Which, my only surprise of the trailer is we had no Danger Zone in that. But I bet you they're going to hit us hard in a few months with the Danger Zone trailer. Like, we'll probably hear that song more than we've ever wanted to hear it.
I mean, I already did if you watch the first movie, but I feel like Cruise has Loggins on speed dial. Make no mistakes. Loggins is I like to imagine that Loggins has, like, the guitar he used recording that hasn't been touched since 1980, whatever. And he's they're gonna have, like, super he's whatever,
just gonna
shallow depth of field focus on.
They're gonna be in the movie. He's gonna be playing it. He's gonna, like, pick up the guitar and blow it off and go like, "Hello, my old friend."
He's gonna be standing on the wing of the jet as it flies through the air.
He's playing it.
He'll be like the doof warrior of this movie.
He is the doof
Kenny Loggins.
Did you mean he has Loggins on cruise dial?
Oh, I love it. He feels the need for speed dial. I don't know. We're running out of gas.
Boy, yeah. Cruise control.
Chris,
yo,
in Chris Control, did you ever watch Veronica Mars?
I never did. I watched a little bit of the first season, and I remember really enjoying it, and I liked it. And I know it's a big fan favorite. I know people were begging to bring it back, and what is this? Is this the second season they've brought back, or did they do a movie?
I feel like I think they did a movie.
They did a movie, yes.
And now they're doing a season.
I think they did that magical nerd thing that every geeky fan of anything always wants, is the thing you love to be announced and then to come out. And I know it wasn't announced at the same moment, but I think it was very cool that they gave fans, only people named Fran, they gave fans a surprise announcement by releasing Veronica Mars Season 4 early. So I think that's very cool, and what a nice thing to do for fans.
It's awesome. I think this is how everyone feels. I adore Kristen Bell.
Yeah.
I think she is so charming and seemingly genuine, that it's kind of like, I get the feeling with her, with Veronica Mars, with her other properties, it's like, oh man, I'm happy this is happening for you. Like,
Yeah, it does.
you know, that's the feeling with her. So
As big a star as she is, it still does feel like she is genuinely connected to the work, and like there's a realness to all of her characters.
connected to the work, and also like has the appropriate level of appreciation for what the work is. Like, she doesn't seem so caught up in like the BS of celebrity and like art making that some people can get really lost in. Like, she seems to have an awareness of just like exactly where this type of entertainment should fall on sort of the global importance spectrum. And it's just really refreshing. I love seeing her in interviews, and yeah, I'm excited. I have never actually watched a show. I believe my wife has the like complete series from the original series on DVD or something. And it's the kind of show I think I'd like. I love those like mystery sort of detective, you know, serialized shows. So I'll crack into it at some point.
Yeah. Excited to hear that. Sometimes when I hear that kind of stuff, I'm like, oh man, I wish I was a fan of that earlier, so I'd like would have enjoyed that surprise. So maybe it'll get me back into the show.
All right, let's move on to. I've got one small comic announcement, but this is our comic section, right? We're talking Comic-Con, and so far we've spent a remarkable amount of time talking about not comics. I'm sure there were many, many announcements that I just didn't follow. I was pretty preoccupied with the Marvel stuff. However, I do want to call everybody's attention to Tom King and Mitch Gerads, who recently did Mr. Miracle. They've done some work together on Batman. Tom King has been writing Batman for like more than a year, I think, or maybe a couple of years now. Previously, he did Marvel's series The Vision. He and Mitch Gerads did The Sheriff of Babylon. They've worked together before. But the two of them are teaming up with another artist, Doc Shaner, to bring back Strange Adventures, which is this like mid-50s pulp DC comic about Adam Strange, who's like kind of like this like 1950s version of a spaceman with like a rocket pack on. He's an explorer. He was an explorer in Peru who ended up on some, you know, trans-dimensional beam to another planet. And what's really cool,
as one does,
as one does. But they released these two covers, and one is by Doc Shaner, whose art style is very much in this like 50s optimistic, you know, Tomorrowland style. Of, you know, Adam Strange standing proudly, and it's paired with the sort of inverse image. You know, Mitch Gerads is probably my favorite artist working in comics today, and he has a much like sort of messier, heavier brushstroke style, and it's the same pose from Adam Strange, but there's all this graffiti over it that says, "I kill, stranger danger, war criminal, monster, space liar," like all this stuff. So I think it's going to be another very Tom King exploration of a character where they dive into the sort of the dirt under the fingernails of a superhero.
That's great,
and it looks awesome. The art's going to be crazy, and I just love anytime comics you know, dive into a lesser known. I mean, what they did with Mr. Miracle last year was insane. So if you haven't read that, check it out. And this is the comic I'm looking forward to. So I wanted to share that with everybody.
That's great. That's the reason for the season. Some actual comic book news.
All right, now that we've covered all of the comic news to come out of Comic-Con, unequivocally, we got it all.
It's all there.
Chris, what would you say your number one takeaway was?
I mean, I think it's that Marvel is releasing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different things in the next 2 years.
It's unbelievable.
Should we just hit them chronologically?
I'm looking at... do you have that pulled up?
I've got the map, yep.
Okay, why don't you go through it?
All right, so Marvel's released kind of their Phase 4, quote-unquote, which Phase 3 ended...
Phase 4, they called it that. That's what it is.
If you could see my hands, I'm using air quotes, right, Marvel? The Phase 3 ending with Spider-Man Far From Home, and we're back. We're back now to Phase 4. What's going to happen? Who knows? But here's what we do know: it's starting out with Black Widow X. Is that how you say it? Is that gonna be the name of it?
I think it's just Black Widow. I think that's just her logo.
I see a little. Oh, it's like the back of a Black Widow. Ah, I see. Already messing up. This is like
we're officially calling it Black Widow X.
Yeah.
It's like Jason X. It takes place in space and she's a robot.
It's Dimension X. That's the Ninja Turtles. That's hilarious. We're a bad focus group. They're like, what did you like about the logo? Well, I like the X. Black Widow, so that's going to bring back Scarlett Johansson, correct? And we'll have, I guess, is this going to be a post, pre? When will this take place?
It appears that this will be a prequel. All signs are pointing that this is a prequel. It features, in addition to Scarlett Johansson, it's got David Harbour, Florence Pugh, O.T. Fabinel? Boy, that's a tricky name, and I apologize. I did not do my due diligence. And Rachel Weisz.
Oh, wow.
Getting in there.
It's got the Taskmaster. It's going to be, looks like the bad guy.
Taskmaster is going to be the villain, presumably played by David Harbour. It's being directed by Kate Shortland. May 1st, 2020, which is super exciting.
That's great.
The rumors point to this being a prequel and establishing, another person from the Black Widow program.
Gotcha.
That will maybe carry that mantle, but that's all rumor at this point. Yeah. Good to have her back. I'm glad she's getting her own movie.
And finally, I think long overdue for Black Widow fans. So here we go. Next on the docket, we've got the Eternals.
Baby.
We'll go movies and then we'll go TV shows. How's that?
Perfect.
So next movie, Eternals. Fan favorite of mine, Kumail Nanjiani, will be in the Eternals.
Fan favorite of mine, Angelina Jolie.
That's
hitting up, joining the Marvel universe.
That's pretty wild. They're just getting everybody now.
Richard Madden from Game of Thrones.
Selma Hayek.
Big. Oh, God, yeah, I didn't even see her. Man. So we've got Angelina Jolie, Richard Madden, Kumail Nanjiani, Lauren Ridloff, Brian Tyree Henry, Salma Hayek, Leah McHugh, and Don Lee. It's being directed by Chloe Zhao, who is a really exciting director who's done a lot of independent stuff that has got a lot of praise I haven't actually seen, so I can't say anything other than I've seen her name a lot. I think, was it The Rider? Is that one she did?
Yeah, The Riders, yeah.
So, which looked amazing and was based on, a real story. This comes out November 2020. It kind of feels to me like the Eternals could be Phase 4's Guardians in terms of, taking the MCU even farther into the weird and, strange places it's gone, which is really exciting. I'm hyped.
It's kind of heightened. Yeah, it's heightened Guardians.
Keep it rolling with this movie train.
All right. So then next we have Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. That comes out in February of 2021. So Black Widow is May 1st, 2020. Eternals, November 2020. And then now we're all the way into 2021 with Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Now, I don't know. Admittedly, I don't know much about this next phase of comics.
I haven't read, but what I understand is that Shang-Chi is, unsurprisingly, he's a martial arts master, and I believe he has the ability to double himself or it's create multiple versions.
Earlier reports are saying the Mandarin it will be the villain.
This is the only thing that gives me any sort of pause. I am and I think you are too, Chris. I think we're in the minority of fans who actually love the way they did the Mandarin in Iron Man 3.
Yes.
Which kind of made a joke of the character.
Yeah.
But I loved that, and I'm curious how in the universe, moving forward, they would establish, a real Mandarin after that in, independent. Maybe they won't use that name. I don't know.
Or maybe it is just a moniker that goes on to the villain.
It could be. But, the Ten Rings was the Mandarin's, sort of villainous organization. We got Simu Liu, Awkwafina, and Tony Leung. It's being
she's all over.
Directed by Destin Daniel Cretton. But the other fun thing is like Simu Liu has like this series. If you check out his Twitter, he was like trolling Marvel about the lack of diversity and like featuring all these like white straight male heroes, and he was really ringing the bell for like, hey, let's get some Asian heroes or Asian American heroes in there, and so he's been cast as the lead. So he like followed up on his own tweets to be like, LOL, oh right, like this is crazy. It seems like he kind of manifested his own casting, which is pretty cool.
And I think that's a good theme for Phase 4 here. They really are embracing the diversity with not only in front of the camera, also behind the camera. So,
which is great. It's about time.
It's great. It's way overdue. Coming up next, we got Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness on May 7th, 2021. I think, Sam, you mentioned in a text or something, it'd be good to see a non-origin story version of Doctor Strange. I think he kind of kicked butt in Avengers Endgame, and so I think I'm happy to see him back, and I know that the stakes are never higher than when Doctor Strange is involved.
I'm super excited about this because, like, we all talked about how well they used Doctor Strange in the, in the Infinity War Endgame, duology. And I think the only struggles I had with that first Doctor Strange movie was I thought the origin stuff was a little clunky. I felt it was well-trodden territory. So I'm excited that we're free of that. Also, Wanda's going to be there. Yeah. Elizabeth Olsen is his co-star.
Oh man, just the crazy hand motions both of them are gonna do.
Oh my god!
I can't.
Being on set, that there's gonna be some fun behind the scenes because how do you do that? Seriously.
Yeah.
But I think the idea of the title having Multiverse of Madness in the title. I mean, that hints at some things that fans have been really excited about. Seeing a multiverse, the idea. I think we're gonna really dive into all the different dimensions with those two. It's exciting, and I hope that we see Chiwetel Ejiofor return, but time will tell. We don't know yet. As Mordo, I think, is his name. So we'll see.
And then we round out the movies for the next 2 years with Thor: Love and Thunder. Now I can't wait to see Chris Hemsworth reprise the role of Thor in. Kidding. He's not in it. That's the twist.
He is in it. He's going to be in it. Yeah. He's in it.
Oh, never mind.
I also can't wait to see him back on screen in
that's
a
what
Thor movie. I think the question will be whether he has any powers, because the big announcement, Chris, is
Natalie Portman is female Thor in Thor: Love and Thunder.
Is the mighty Thor. This is based off a comic from a couple of years ago where they had Jane Foster took on the mantle of Thor, and they referred to her as the mighty Thor. And that apparently was a big influence on Taika Waititi, who's returning to direct. He pitched Natalie Portman, and apparently was able to get her on board in one meeting, which was you've got to think that was a big turn, because she was very publicly unhappy with way the Dark World went. It did seem
like they turned that kind of story into... It's like, way to go, Marvel. Like, righting wrongs. Like,
and turning a negative into a positive.
Yeah, I was so impressed to hear that. And she's great. I mean, she's one of our best actors in existence. And to see her, like, take this role...
I'm excited to see her also in what will almost certainly be a comedy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the success of Ragnarok was all around it being just so sort of bonkers and funny.
Right. And just the idea that we get another Taika Waititi movie is, like, amazing.
Yeah, this title treatment is rad. If you guys, so all of these were announced along, accompanied by like title treatments that are just, I mean, this looks like Thundercats.
It also has that
great.
kind of like 80s like there was like a lot of like Viking and kind of fantasy stuff. It also has that 80s feel to it with that kind of like bubbly lettering.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The sort of Ralph Bakshi look of his stuff.
Yeah, but very excited to see Natalie Portman in the new Thor. I did not know Chris Hemsworth could be in it. that ruined my bit, but
well, it didn't, man.
Not
But
yet.
it's called Thor: Love and Thunder.
And also of note, it's going to have the first LGBTQ hero with Valkyrie in it. So
Oh, nice.
for the Marvel Universe, which is pretty exciting. And also a little bummer that has to take 2 more years to kind of introduce something like that. But hey.
Well, look,
getting
Tessa
there.
Thompson. Yeah, Tessa Thompson was, introed in Ragnarok. She was great. The
Mm-hmm.
chemistry with Hemsworth obviously spun out into a Men in Black movie, and now they're coming back. So
that is wild, yeah.
I'm excited to see this
Yeah.
this party, team up, which is
Yeah.
going to be great.
It's gonna be great. I love that Thor. I always thought that Guardians kind of became like the out there movie. I love that this Taika Waititi's direction for these Thor movies is taking them so far into this like future realm. They're so good.
Chris, do you want to roll through quickly what we
Yes.
have on the TV front? A lot of this
Sure.
has been announced before, but we got
Yeah.
confirmation on it.
Let's do it. All right. So in the fall, so we'll go back. So that was November 2021 with Thor: Love and Thunder. We're gonna go back now to the TV series featuring on Disney Plus, $6.99. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's pretty self-described.
Yeah,
it's gonna
but-
be their adventures.
The big thing that's exciting is they're bringing back Baron Zemo from Civil War.
Oh, nice.
Daniel Bruhl is returning as what will almost certainly be the season's big bad.
Yeah.
Look, the Cap movies won me over. I'm so excited for this series to continue to play in that sandbox with like the sort of espionage, spy, action genre. I think people who listen to the pod know that's my bread and butter. Let's get some Tom Cruise in there,
Yeah,
am I right?
there you go.
But yeah, I'm super excited for this one. And they had Anthony Mackie come out on stage holding Cap's shield, which was just like very, very cool. It made it all real. It's super exciting. So.
And I love that it's just a tie-in to the whole MCU as well, which is great. And who knows? Maybe we'll get a little Cap cameo somehow, somewhere. Then
That's
we've
fall
got
2020. Yeah, sorry,
that's
you said
fall
that.
2020. Yep. And then coming out almost a few months later, WandaVision. You get Disney Plus with the addition of WandaVision.
This is exciting to me.
Yeah.
It's also Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany. People have been sort of, dunking on the title. I actually love this title.
I think it's great.
And I think it seems to me as though it's going to be influenced by that Tom King run on Vision, which, for those who don't know, is all about the Vision moves to DC and builds his own family of like
DC,
robot.
DC the city, not DC.
Oh,
Comics.
Washington D.C. And how that all goes bad.
Yeah.
How it all goes wrong. And it seems like we know where these characters are left. Vision died, and so Wanda's alone and like extremely sad about that, but is also one of the most powerful beings in the MCU. So the
Right.
idea is maybe they flip that script. Maybe she tries to recreate a family of her own with Viz, and where does that lead?
Yeah, it's drawing inspiration from that House of M series. Yeah.
Also, yeah, true. So excited for that.
Very cool. Then we got, what do we got? WandaVision. Loki, fan favorite Loki, is coming back spring 2021 on Disney Plus for a series of his own. Getting Hiddleston in there. These are like, these series, everything we've named here TV-wise, like, it's full of heavy hitters.
It's crazy.
All of these people were in the biggest movie in ever.
That's true. Yeah, the casting. Yeah, the casting is pretty nuts. They're coming off the biggest movie of all time to do TV on a new streaming platform.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about confidence.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
This is going to be great. Look,
It's all earned.
There's
Yeah.
a reason that Hiddleston has been in like as many movies as like the big three. As like Cap, Thor, and Tony.
Yeah.
Were, because it's
He's
like
a delight to watch. Yeah.
He's got that,
Also-
that right mix of like good, bad.
Love the logo of this Loki thing. It's like pulling letters out of the different Marvel movies, and I really think that we're going to see him interacting with a lot of different things.
That's interesting. Yeah, we do know that in Endgame there is a version of Loki out there somewhere with the Space Stone. So
I hope this is just like Quantum Leap with Loki.
That would be very fun.
After that, we've got summer 2021 is Marvel What If, which is going to be an animated series.
But did you see the voice cast for this, Chris?
Let's hear it.
It's everybody from the movies. It's like everybody.
That's great.
Who plays
it's like,
the
hey,
roles
we
of the-
couldn't film. So What If, and I think it's kind of loosely titled, kind of related to What the, is just kind of alternate Marvel stories and kind of things that can happen in the multiverse. I think it's perfect fodder for an animation because it allows them a lot of freedom just to kind of play with it whatever they want. I'm pretty excited for the show, and I think if they make it in a meaningful way, it'll be some good glue to kind of tie up any patch any potholes, but also plot holes. But it'll I think it'll play well if they commit to it, you know?
I think it'll be great. I think they'll lean into it. I'm curious I'm curious about things like what's the animation style going to be? Is it going to be different from episode to episode? Mm-hmm. Is it going to be the same? But essentially, it's a chance for them to do all the things they didn't do with the movies and explore them. So far, the voice cast that's been announced is Michael B. Jordan, Sebastian Stan, Josh Brolin, Mark Ruffalo, Tom Hiddleston, Stanley Tucci, Taika Waititi, Toby Jones, Jaimin Hansu, Jeff Goldblum, Michael Rooker, Chris Sullivan, Michael Douglas, Paul Rudd, Jeremy Renner, Karen Gillan, Haley Atwell, Chadwick Boseman, Chris Hemsworth, Samuel L. Jackson, and also the big announcement is that Jeffrey Wright will be playing the Watcher. The Watcher.
Wow.
So it's going to have everything. It's going to sound and look of the same quality as these movies and TV shows. It's pretty crazy. And it's, I think some interesting writers are going to get to go nuts.
Pretty amazing. Then, rounding out, after What If, we've got Hawkeye, fall 2021.
Yeah, and this is going to bring back Jeremy Renner. It's going to be an all Hawkeye series, and it's going to introduce Kate Bishop, who takes over the mantle of Hawkeye from Clint Barton. Man, I would love nothing more for this to somehow play off of Matt Fraction and David Asia's run. But it'll be interesting. That was a very different Hawkeye than what we've seen in the movie. That was like a single guy in Brooklyn. So obviously we know this Hawkeye has a family on the farm, but I think this might be the series I'm most excited for. Just because I really love Renner, and I'm excited to see what how they play with him as a more street level, less powered up hero in the universe. But I'm excited for all these.
Yeah, I think they look amazing. I mean, noticeably absent. We have a sequel to Black Panther, a sequel to Captain Marvel, Ant-Man, and then another Spider-Man. But who knows if Spider-Man plays by these rules?
And no announcement yet.
Oh yeah,
on
Guardians
another
3.
Avengers.
Another Avengers or Guardians 3. So, I mean, think of all the stuff they just gave us, and that's 2 years. Who know? You're like, what could they possibly do next? I just named 5 movies.
That's amazing. And there's one movie that you didn't name as a possibility of something they could do next. And I think this is the perfect way to close out this Comic-Con recap.
Let's hear it.
I think where Marvel maybe truly won Comic-Con was at the end. After this amazing slate that they announced, they brought out an actor on stage. Mahershala Ali, Oscar nominee. Did he win the Oscar?
I think
Gosh, that's embarrassing if I don't know that. But Mahershala Ali comes out, removes a ball cap from his back pocket, a Kevin Feige ball cap that reveals the words Blade. They are making a Blade movie starring Mahershala Ali.
Yes.
In case you're wondering, there is a comment out there you can read from Wesley Snipes. It's very generous. It's very nice. It's sort of unexpectedly kind. But all we got is the type treatment, no date announcement, nothing but just the announcement that Blade would be returning and that it's played by Mahershala Ali.
Oh my
This
God.
feels like the moment where they really locked it down and
Yep.
sort of showed people they weren't playing around.
Yeah, no, this is that's some next level hero stuff there. If there, there's already been 3 Blade movies, and they're confident enough to do one for the MCU. So,
I mean, and just imagine what this could be. You know, this could be them playing with something R-rated. The idea that it's also, just think of like in the comics, man. Like Spider-Man interacted with Blade. That's a thing that could happen. That's crazy. So. Yeah, I think this was truly Marvel Studios' year. I think Warner Brothers was wise to sit this one out, which they announced far back. They must have known this was coming.
Yeah.
For anybody who knows the pod, we're big fans of the MCU, so we wanted to spend some time just celebrating that.
And boy, did we ever. Well, I think there you have it. That's our Comic-Con recap. Follow us on Twitter at DroidsPod, Facebook at DroidsPod, Instagram at DroidsPod. Email us, droidspod@gmail.com. We want to thank our winner for the first poster contest for reaching out. Posters coming your way as soon as we can get it there. And don't forget the secret word for the second poster is tingle. Tingle. There you go. You got that. And then... I don't know, should we do a third word? I think we can. All right, third poster. Here we go. Here we go.
Folks, can you tell this wasn't planned?
Are you ready? Are you ready? The secret word is Blade. There you have it.
So you get that, people? Blade.
Email us the word Blade for your chance to win a new poster. Random tandem poster here. I have no details on it, but you can win a cool... pop art poster.
Maybe we'll let you know on the regular pod.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be an assignment.
Maybe
for
those
Chris.
details will be filled in, and I didn't just think of this now. But thanks for listening. You know where to follow us. Please, if you do like this or you like the Droids Pod, rate, review us, tell a friend, give us those stars wherever fine podcasts are listened to. Sam, I think we did it.
Hey, I think we did it. Look, and I got to tell you, I'm getting a little tired of hanging out on this dusty sunset of an outpost. So let's hop in the Corellian cruiser and get back to civilization. We will be back regularly scheduled time, regularly scheduled channel. I avoided a Batman. Oh, there it is.
Oh, there it is. No, you said Batman. You didn't say. Did you say James Bond?
There he is, and
Oh,
we've made
nice.
it. I
There it
just
is.
incepted you. Into saying, James Bond currently filming Bond 25 with Cary Fukunaga looks dope.
Wouldn't be a Droidosphere podcast without that.
Yeah, so we'll be back Friday with the regular episode from the Droids covering all your Star Wars news. Hope you all enjoyed this. Peace out.
Laters.